Sorry about that. And the stream should be back up as well. I wasn't muted for the audience, but I was muted for you. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons today. But I believe we should be back up and running again. And I think I've figured out the problem that was bringing our stream down, so I don't think we'll have that issue again.
Too many hotkeys?
Too many hotkeys. Hand-aids being dropped from some battles, that's actually a fairly good drop this early on, something I could hold on to for a long time. That's a...
that is a full HP heal, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a life up gamma is what hand-aids are. So their value will definitely increase in value the longer they can hold on to those. Of course, it's always a... especially Ancient Cave, but... Vanilla Earthbound as well, the item management is always an issue.
Temple, back at Frank. I'm not sure why he's fighting me. I guess he hard reset and I didn't see it. So I guess he was making up a little bit of time.
Yeah. I'll be surprised. I'm actually surprised to see that he went ahead and used this freeze. I guess that does leave him enough for a fire. I was wondering if he was going to be more conservative with his psychic attacks on Frank, knowing the scripted battle that's just on the other side of this door. Ari has found an arms dealer, and there are super bombs. That is a very large find.
Super bombs and any of those kind of explosive equipment that you normally find for kind of like Jeff's, like the bottle rockets and the bombs, they're all extremely useful. Whenever people find super bombs or multi-bottle rockets or big bottle rockets, you'll often see them do anything they can to start hoarding them a little bit for any kind of potential future bosses. Because some of the future bosses can be kind of nasty.
Yeah, and super bombs can take out things very easily. And part of the thing about Randomizer is a lot of the difficult in-game enemies in Vanilla Earthbound end up getting taken out with multi-bottle rockets, but you have no guarantee that you're going to have multi-bottle rockets, or that if you have them, that Jeff's speed won't be absolute garbage and they'll be useless. So you may need to find different ways to beat the enemies that you're used to just throwing a single multi-bottle rocket at and saying goodbye to.
So one thing we haven't seen yet that I'm hoping we find is these runners don't have to go in 100% blind to bosses. If they get lucky and they find the Hintman has been programmed a little bit differently this time to tell you what floor you're on currently and every single boss you'll fight in the game. All the Sanctuary bosses. So if you can find a Hintman, he says, oh, Nessa's Nightmare is floor 7 or Carbon Dog Diamond Dog is floor 8, you can kind of prepare accordingly and know that hopefully maybe it's worth spending a little bit of time to try and find a flame pendant or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Or possibly even to find a skip to get around him if it's a really difficult boss. Or alternatively, it might just give you the peace of mind like, oh, this is going to be an easy guy. I don't need to... I'm approaching this shiny spot who is dead, but I know what the boss is, so I know that I can handle it.
So both players just working through floor 2 right now. Temple is working his way through a path that Aurilliux was in just a few minutes ago. So these runners are still are very much in a very similar spot, just exploring floor 2 right now. Neither of them has found the boss yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anyone is at an advantage, one or the other. And that sound you just heard, that pew sound from Temple's stream, that's one more feature that we haven't explained has been added to this hack. There is a drop button. The R shoulder button will now just automatically throw away the most recent item you've gotten from a chest or from an NPC or from a battle. And that significantly speeds up, especially with Ancient Cave, where you're checking all these chests and you're getting garbage you don't want, like the bag of fries. Instead of going through all the menuing to drop it, a simple shoulder button press and a pew, and it is out of your life.
It's such a perfect sound effect for that too.
So Belch's Base, a fairly large map with a few doors on it, but it's more just the size of the map and lots of areas for spawns. Temple's still looking for the path forward through it.
I'm not sure why he didn't check that top left door. He might have checked it when I wasn't looking.
Well, the top left one, the entrance to Belch's Base is not enabled because that is a one-way door. Because you enter Belch's Base through the waterfall, and the waterfall isn't a real door. It's a little weird. So that makes that a one-way door, and all of the one-way doors have been disabled because we need all of the doors to be able to have a back and a forth in order to make the cave work. So Ari
I'm
pokes
going
his
to
head
pretend
in.
that I actually knew that that door was not an actual door, just to lead you into a nice little description of that.
No, it was an excellent setup. Ari checks these monkeys to see if he has the items to do a potential skip here, but he does not.
Yeah, sometimes you find some items that might not be useful in a regular run, and you definitely want to hoard them. So, for example, if you find something like a carrot key, which would open up the door to the Thunder and Storm Sanctuary in Dalam, you might hold on to it because maybe floor 3, floor 4, you actually find that area, and you can use that carrot key on that door to find a potential skip to the future. So if you find some of those monkey items that they're requesting, and you know what those are ahead of time, sometimes it's worth holding on to them just in case you find that monkey room in the future.
Yeah, correct. So the various types of skips, we have the monkey rooms that we talked about. There's also the theater rooms, where coming from one direction you need a ticket, but coming from the other direction, you just chalk to the guy to get out of the way. So that can be a skip that you can do without any items if you're coming from the right direction. And then also the skips of erasing the rabbit statues or the pencil statue or the eraser statue.
You'll also notice Aurilliux just down there just set up his exit mouse location. So with the exit mouse functionality has been changed a little. Have you described that yet?
We have not talked about the exit mouse yet.
So our Aurilliux used his exit mouse, and he has two options now: to mark or to go to your last marked location. And right there, he was just marking his location there at the middle of the cave because he has it's kind of an area where it's going to fork into a few different areas. So I guess he marked his location right there in case one of these forks goes quite a ways before it dead ends. He's just going to use his exit mouse to get back there.
Mm-hmm. It's a good location because you can immediately pick up another exit mouse. Temple ticking, a tough death here. The sentry robot called for help. He had one of them down. He had to go to prayer strats, and like you described, the prayer brought back the first sentry robot back from the dead. So that's going to send him again all the way back to the Lost Underworld.
Thankfully, he does know where there's a fire spring location, full heal, that's just off one of the doors in the desert. So he knows exactly how to get to floor 2, and he knows very close or very quickly as well where a full heal is. So he'll be able to find both of those pretty quick and get back to where he was.
Right. If Ari took a death here, I don't think he's found a full heal yet. So he wouldn't know where to go to get all of his kids back.
Aurilliux there just taking the mole fight. He already knows freeze beta, so he's just going to fight this guy normally just for the experience gains, I'm assuming.
Just for the experience, and it is possible that the first Franklin badge might be as low as floor 2. I think floor 3 is probably more likely situation to have it. The Franklin badges are distributed, one's in the mid-early game and one's in the mid-late game. We won't know exactly what floor because, of course, that whole item pool gets slightly shuffled and randomized. But those will be about where they are if they got chosen.
Unfortunately, it was a luck capsule. I don't know if there's an item you would prefer to see even less than a luck capsule.
Not so lucky.
And one of the things that you'll see the players start doing after a period of time is know when they are able to fight enemies that they're getting down quickly. They know they have a few characters that have some decent weapons, and you'll start seeing them use auto fight a little more often here now that they have some decent equipment. I know that on Ari's side, he's got a slingshot, and Temple's got some similar gear.
Yeah. As compared to, I would say, vanilla Earthbound, despawning is not going to be as effective on the whole, so a lot of times you'll end up just taking a battle because it'll be faster than. I mean, for one thing, you don't know what the percentages of the spawn plates are, so you don't know how long it'll take to despawn. And there are no like 10% spawn plates that are really easy to despawn. Every spawn plate is at least a 50%.
You'll also notice that Ari just went into one of the shops, and all the items in the shops are slightly randomized. They'll have similar gears what they normally did, but they'll still will be a little randomized. And Ari was just checking that bakery shop just to see what they had, just to see if it was worth getting through there or buying anything. He did just find a monkey that takes a hamburger, so that I'm not sure if that bakery back before it had a hamburger he could buy to skip it.
That would be interesting to see if he decides to go that way. In my opinion, it's basically worth it to check every shop except the condiment shop. Those seem to, the similar item algorithm seems to, because all the condiment shops have only condiments, it seems to not ever give the condiment shops anything but condiments. But pretty much all the other shops could have something crazy in them at any time.
The big items they'll be there. They want to look for this here in the early game. They might pick up some croissants. Croissants are a nice cheap item. They're a pretty solid heal. The other big items they'll be looking for are things like secret herbs. Secret herbs, if you can ever find them, I'm sure you'll see the runner. If they have any money, they will probably buy 4 or 5.
Right, they want to get that 75% heal resurrect chance, because that will save you a lot of time compared to backtracking to a hospital or a full heal.
A temple just discovered that arms dealer that Ari found a little while ago. Didn't look like he actually bought anything though. I don't know if he has any money or what the situation. He might not have enough money to buy any super bombs right now.
He had enough for one, and it looks like he picks up one. So still slow progress through floor 2. Of course, Mole Cave is a difficult area to get through. And again, we've these rooms with all these scripted battles are taking a toll. Temple going to give this robot another try, see if we can avoid the same fate as last time.
And it's not unusual to find one of those seeds where you can find a couple shortcuts and get to floor 8 or floor 9 within 20, 30, 40 minutes. The fact that both of these runners are on floor 2, both of these very high or very strong, excellent runners at this randomizer are still on floor 2 shows that this is a very, very tough seed and just having a hard time progressing.
Ari has history of doing a sub-hour run of this randomizer. Since that time, the algorithm for how skips work has been slightly changed, but I have no doubt that he would still be able to do another sub-hour with the right seed and the right luck and the right strategies.
But even with that route change, I know that both these runners have gotten close to a 110 with that logic change to exclude those really, really significant multiple or 5 or 6 floor skips.
Right, but it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing any sub-hour runs today, unless there's quite a miracle here. The Foolish Lardna over on Temple's side. Goodbye, Foolish Lardna. Ari going up to talk to Mom and Magicant. Something that you may not know because it doesn't come up in vanilla is that this is actually a full heal. This will resurrect any of your dead party members, undiamondize them, give you full HP and PP. Just like a Sanctuary.
It is important to note that in that Magic Ant area, it's not worth, unless you really want to get some or look for some presence in maybe a potential later floor or something like that. It's really not worth exploring the middle of Magic Ant much because that central needle is not a door in this one.
Right, that would normally lead you to the Sea of Eden, and of course there's no way to get back from the Sea of Eden, which makes that a one-way door, which makes it disabled. And
I did notice that Ari walked around the top of the sanctuary. That's an interesting strategy. I'd
what?
never thought about that. Everyone's already healed, and he didn't need the full heal, so he just walked around the top, so he didn't have to see that animation happen.
Yep. Saves a little bit of time. Both runners checking out Magicant.
And Temple is at that exact same sanctuary. I didn't realize they were this close.
Yep. A very close match so far.
But that Magnet Hill did have the pencil eraser, so if they do find the right area, that pencil eraser can might be a potential skip somewhere.
Yep, does open up 2 potential skips.
But Ari is the first to find the floor 2 boss. Let's see what we got. The Gassy Asp.
Oh no, your asp is gassy.
Some of these early sanctuary bosses can be pretty trivial if you get a right randomized enemy and you have some freeze alpha, freeze betas, psychic points available. They can be pretty inconsequential to get through. So now Arya's on floor 3. I'm sure Temple is right behind him as he slowly explores. Yeah, and Temple has just found the same floor 2 boss.
So what will floor 3 bring for our runners? Again, this is the floor that's probably most likely to have your first Franklin badge show up. If it did get put into the seed, remember each item in the pool only has a 70% chance of actually ending up in the maze itself. So there may or may not be a Franklin badge, in this area.
And we talked about the Franklin badge because it's an extremely useful item, especially for the Gygas fight. If you can make it past phase 1 and phase 2 of the Gygas fight, and Paula has flash and cold resist and a Franklin badge, the most damage she'll ever take on an individual turn is about 8, and it makes her essentially invincible. Whereas normally, if you don't find the Franklin badge, phase 3 can be kind of a nasty part of the Gygas fight.
Yeah, you'll encounter a lot more difficulty, I would say, with Gygas in a ancient cave run than you would in a vanilla run. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I have died to Gygas more times in Ancient Cave than I have in Earthbound in the last couple years.
Because as we just discussed, there's no guarantee you'll have a Franklin badge, and there's no guarantee that you'll have a C badge or a star badge for Paula, so she may be taking all sorts of damage in phase 2 and 3. Now, of course, you may also get 2 Franklin badges and 3 star badges, and you'll have a cakewalk, but that's randomizer.
But even if you do get those items, sometimes you can struggle to put out enough damage. I mean, you're not guaranteed to have any star storms on Pooh, so you're kind of relying on just freeze betas. And with some bad luck, you can still see a little bit of difficulty on phase 1 and phase 2.
That's true.
And an interesting fact about pointing out Starstorm, you might remember if you're playing through regular vanilla Earthbound, you normally learn Starstorm as the game progresses. Once you make it through Scaraba Desert, and again in Deep Darkness, you learn, and again in Cave of the Past, you learn the 2 Starstorm Alpha and Starstorm Omega. In this game, when you go through those areas, those events are disabled. So the way you learn Starstorm Alpha and Omega is just another randomized item called the... What is it called again, Chaz?
Is the Auto Star Master.
Yeah, and you just use that item, doesn't matter who uses it, and it'll teach Pooh the next level of ability of Starstorm. So if you don't know Alpha, it'll teach you Alpha, and if you do know Alpha, it'll teach you Omega.
So since there's 2 of those in the item pool, it's actually a little bit rare that you'll get both of them in one seed with the opportunity to learn Omega. But I have looked at the spoiler for this seed, and there are both Auto Star Masters are in this maze, so it is possible someone will get Starstorm Omega here.
One thing you'll start seeing as this ancient cave goes on is some of these players will start using abilities that you don't really see in a vanilla speedrun. So you saw Temple there using a thunder on that enemy just above, and I believe that enemy is strong to freeze, and you don't really have any other way of doing decent damage, so you just throw out a thunder with Pooh, and sometimes it works and it pays off pretty significantly.
Yep, lets him clear this enemy away.
On Ari's side, you see him reaching Winters. Above on the northern side of Winters, there's that full heal. I was thinking that was the full heal side of Winters.
I know, yeah. However, that is the side that he does have that pencil eraser, so he could have taken that skip.
Oh, I think he was just going in to save. I didn't realize that NPC was only there on the way out. But I believe he's going to use his pencil eraser item to skip this. So by using this pencil eraser on that essentially the NPC right there, Ari has actually skipped to a different floor. So we don't actually know what floor Aurilliux is on right now.
So it'll be interesting. So once you've done a skip,
you can usually gauge what floor someone is on. So what they're going to be immediately looking for is maybe the difficulty of enemies, the strength of the chests, to kind of determine what floor they're on and know if that actually was a skip or not. Because if you took a shortcut, you might actually be going back a floor.
Yes, so Ari will be looking around, trying to find some chests, trying to find some enemies, try to figure out where he is.
Ooh, you even got a question mark for what floor you're on.
Yeah, I got real fancy. Of course, hitting that button muted my mic for you, so you didn't know I was talking, so I gotta fix that, but in theory, it's really fancy.
Temple has just reached that same location with that pencil eraser. I believe he also picked it up, which was an item that he found at one of the sanctuary heal spots. So my guess is he's going to be doing the same heal and the same shortcut.
Does seem likely. And Ari has entered into Onnet, which is one of the largest hubs. It has, 18 doors, I believe?
Sometimes those hubs can be extremely, extremely discouraging as you work your way through door after door and dead end after dead end.
Well, I see a fire, so this is definitely a skip forward. I don't know whether that's a Magicant fire enemy or a Fire Springs fire enemy. I guess we'll find out as Ari begins to encounter it. As a Magicant fire enemy, the little fire plug.
So with that Magicant enemy, my guess, I don't know exactly, but my guess is he either skipped to about floor 5 or floor 6. We're looking at somewhere around there for Ari right now. Don't know he probably won't know for absolute certain until he reaches the Sanctuary boss and the Sanctuary boss tells him what floor he's on, or he reaches a Hintman and the Hintman tells him.
And speaking of Auto Starmaster, their temple has found one. And he activates it, and now Pooh has Starstorm.
Pooh being able to put out some extra damage on some of the Gygus fights or even just some nasty encounters can be a significant help.
So interestingly, it looks like Temple's staying with floor 3. Meanwhile, Ari begins the search of the dozens of doors in Onnet.
Also the struggle to equalize your levels with where they should be for this floor.
Right, that fight against that fire plug was not a walk in the park. The good news, though, is that they'll all provide a lot more experience than you would be getting otherwise, so the equalization can come fast.
And the one interesting part about where Aurilliux is, where he's exploring, you don't know for sure if you're working backwards on a floor or forwards on a floor. And you don't know that until you reach one of the Sanctuary bosses. All of a sudden you go in a door and you're standing right behind the Sanctuary boss. And you know that, oh, I guess I was going the wrong direction on this floor.
Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like Temple has reached the end of floor 3. We'll see what boss we have to encounter here. Still don't know what our boss list is. No Hintman found. And it is a big mole.
A tense big mole.
Yes. And you can know that this is the Mondo mole and not the third strongest mole through a couple ways. One, through the name, you can sometimes kind of guess, even with the randomized name. And two, from the background. Even though the backgrounds are randomized, you'll notice the third strongest mole still has that number 3 symbol in its background. And this one does not have that number 3 symbol anywhere. So we're dealing with Mondo mole here.
I do appreciate Ari getting his photo taken.
He's going to show off this custom Fuzzy Pickle sprite that the dragon has. He sticks out his little tongue right there. It's very adorable. The initial dragon sprites were by Quadrupus, but then Ari himself made a lot of the follow-up sprites for Dragon Nest, including the Fuzzy Pickles one. This Mondo
This
Mole.
fight. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, this Mondo Mole is giving Temple some problems.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think he's just going on an auto fight. Mondo Mole is paralyzed, so he can't do any damage to Temple. And I think he's just going on auto fight because he doesn't know exactly what's behind this door or how long he needs to last. So I guess he decided, you know what, I'm just going to take the safe way and just auto fight this guy to death. So I have a few psychic points on the other side.
That makes sense. It doesn't take that long with ludicrous tech speed, although it's not that short either.
Yeah, you're just hoping for smashes, which is what's going to put out the big damage. He's already gotten a few here and there. I'm sure this will be done pretty soon.
So if you had to guess what floor Ari is on based on what we've seen so far, what would you think?
I think it's on, because you're starting to see some four-side style enemies too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking Ari is on floor 5 right now.
Okay.
I know you have the spoiler sheet in front of you looking at. No, you might know where you.
I do have the ability to look it up, but I have not done so yet.
Oh, okay.
We'll leave everyone in a bit of mystery.
At the very most, I believe he's on floor 6. Either way, it was about a 3-floor skip. Not huge, but still pretty significant.
Mm-hmm. Ari just poked his head into Belch's room. We didn't actually see Belch because he didn't walk all the way over there. But something I do want to mention for new runners of this, Belch is sitting at a door, and that is a skip. And the reason for that is you cannot beat Belch without the jar of fly honey or some very extreme strategies that you probably do not want to try if you are a new player to Earthbound.
So yeah, the only way to down Belch is with that fly honey. If you don't use the fly honey, or it is impossible, or you actually never affect Belch's hit points under the hood. The only other way to kill him is with getting lucky on a flash move, but it's unlikely you'll know flash early enough to merit even using that shortcut.
So Temple has found the free shop in Happy Happy Village, and this is one of the most interesting locations in Randomizer because this shop is randomized, but it is still free. You can still pay nothing if you want. So in some runs, I have seen multi-bottle rockets at this shop, and you can just load up on them for free.
I did see that shopkeeper had a couple Monkey Cave items. He had a skip sandwich and a picnic lunch, and Temple grabbed both. So hoping for a potential skip, he has the item if he needs it.
But no super bombs, no multi-bottle rockets, no secret herbs, no horns of life, nothing game-breaking at the free shop this time around. Rabbit's Foot will help.
If Temple had the money, that he did just find the door to the shack, or the Shackano net. So if he did have $7,500, he could move that guy out of the way, and that would be to the same floor that Aurilliux is on right now.
Correct, yes. Ari currently filling up on bottles of water for Pooh. Since
I love randomizer. It gives you just get to see so many new strategies that technically you think about in a vanilla speedrun, but you never actually get to use. It opens up much more strategy and much more kind of thinking than a normal vanilla speedrun.
Indeed. Since player stats are intershuffled as well as randomized, a lot of times Pooh will just not have any psychic point or any offense to do anything with. So loading him up with bottles of water, pretty important. Temple doing a skip and then an immediate other skip. Well, this first skip took us back to Mole Cave. We have been here before, correct?
That is correct. So I believe that was a backtrack to floor 3. Either that or floor 2, one of the two. Someone in chat was saying that Aurilliux found a hint man saying that he was on floor 6. I didn't see it, but it sounds like we know where we are now.
Alrighty. I also did not see that. There is a lot to try and watch. Temple takes the second skip, and now we're in on net. Or maybe we're not. Maybe we're not going to try that. Maybe we're going to go back through Mole Cave. Temple did go through Mole Cave, right? I'm not imagining this.
I don't know. You can also see the mushrooms and the mobile sprouts over there on the left. Sometimes it may be. I guess he didn't explore this on whatever floor he was on earlier, so he may think this might have been a shortcut forward, and he's still just trying to figure out what floor this is now.
I know.
But yeah, he definitely had that access to Onet, which is a very significant jump forward to floor 6, which is where Aurilliux is as well.
Right.
And he just spotted that cop and the dogs, which are an earlier style enemy as well.
Yeah, signs you're definitely not very far in. I'm a little surprised that he's still here instead of going back to on.
I do think he just realized the strength of the enemies, and now he's heading back.
Okay. Yeah, this seems to be booking it out here. So on floor 6, if you're on floor 6, how important is getting to every present for you now?
The need to get to every present definitely increases, especially since you've skipped a few floors and your equipment is a little underpowered. It definitely has the need for equipment is definitely increased, and I'm probably spending a lot more time looking for it. Especially since I believe floor 6 or floor 7 starts introducing some of those flash-resistant items that you're really hoping for. Night pendants, sea pendants, star pendants, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I have seen seeds where sea pendants were on floor 6, so I think on 7 or 8 is going to be more common, but I have seen them on 6.
Yeah, maybe night pendants are more common, would be more common on floor 6, floor 5 type things, since you can find those in the vanilla game in Moonside, I believe is the first case.
Yeah, I would expect that you'll find those more often here, but again, flash enemies are starting to pop up, so...
Yeah, both players right now just exploring floor 6, trying to figure out where they are, where the progression is. Aurilliux finding some great defensive items, just picked up a goddess band. Mm-hmm. But yeah, both of these players just kind of exploring, trying to figure out where's forward, where's backward, and where all these dead ends are, and picking up some good gear along the way. Oh, I do notice that Temple has a rabbit's foot in his inventory. I didn't see them pick that up, but that's another really useful item.
Yep. Ari just found the backside of a shiny spot. He just poked his head in there real quick. So that was what we were talking about. The shiny spot rooms are always the correct direction, forward to back. So if you walk in a door and you see you're at the back of a shiny spot, it means that you have taken a skip and you have found the beginning of whatever floor you are on. So that was the boss for floor 5 that he just saw. So he knows that he is now at the beginning of floor 6 and needs to... It looks like he set up an exit mouse earlier on this floor. So he'll be able to save some time backtracking.
Oh, he set it up right next to another exit mouse shop too.
Right, I've noticed
he had set it up right there.
I've noticed he definitely likes to do that, always setting up his exit mouse. So basically whenever he finds an exit mouse shop, which is a fairly good idea.
See, and there's that decision making. We're on floor 6, and Temple saw a chest behind an enemy and just kind of made the decision to kind of just go for it. And I guess he's weighing that chance of getting a really good item above the time that it takes to fight that enemy, even though it's not a very difficult enemy at this point.
Mm-hmm. So if you're just joining us, this is an exhibition match between Aurilliux and Temple with the Ancient Cave Earthbound Randomizer, available at earthbound.app. We're actually going to be, as soon as the Boogie% Super Series tournament is finished, we'll be beginning a Ancient Cave tournament series. I think we actually might be starting that this week. The what do you call them? The qualifying rounds. Not that there's qualifying; everyone can qualify, but the seeding rounds, I suppose, the open rounds, where we will have one seed a week, and people will be free to play the seed whenever they want during the week, and submit their first time that they get, the time they get for completion, the first time they play it. And we'll be doing 6 weeks of that, where you need to submit at least 4 weeks of time. And then we'll be using that for seeding for the elimination portion of the tournament. So if that is something you are interested in, you don't need to be an expert at Ancient Cave because you have basically 6 weeks to practice on these seeds and improve your skills.
And I believe that I believe it'll be a 6-week period of time, and all you have to do is play it at least 4 times. Once four of the 6 seeds, just get some time submitted, and you're guaranteed to move through to the elimination portion.
Yep, that's the plan. Temple taking another skip, so we don't know where he'll end up. But
Temple has found a really nice the Tenda Cave area is really nice to get the full revive at the pool, and then the heal at the hotel.
Yeah, the Tenda Cave is great. You have a save, you have a full heal in combination with the pool and the hotel. You have a save, you have an item, it's all right there. And that room that he came into right off of that skip was itself a shiny spot room, the forward shiny spot room. So whatever floor he's on, he's right at the end of it. And if it's a difficult boss, he has a save with a full heal just 2 doors away. So this is a really good position for Temple after taking this skip.
What did he take to get here? I didn't see that happen.
It was a Monkey Cave skip.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I guess it was probably either likely that picnic lunch or that skip sandwich that he got at that free stand earlier definitely paid off to allow him to take that skip.
Mm-hmm. Sword of Kings found on Aurilliux' side. Might make Pooh marginally more useful, maybe. Well, we can hope. So I imagine Tipple... Well, I'm kind of surprised, actually. It doesn't look like he's going for that shiny spot that he saw. Maybe he didn't see it, and he didn't realize that the sewer room he was in was the shiny spot sewer room, or maybe he's looking for gifts.
And then you're also seeing Temple having to deal with some spawns in a place you wouldn't normally see spawns. Spawns can be really anywhere in this one, even in safe town type area.
Mm-hmm. And Ari has found the shiny spot boss for floor 6. He's getting prepared, feeding Ness some pizza before we encounter this boss. He should know what this is, since he saw the hint man. A puny stony man. I don't know, he looks pretty intimidating to me, but... I guess if the game says he's puny, who am I to argue?
I did notice that the enemies that Temple was seeing in the Tenda Village area were Noosemen and that kind of thing. So that makes me think he's back at like floor 3 or 4. Yeah, this is the 4th sanctuary location. He was in Onet earlier, and he actually took a backwards shortcut.
Okay, yeah, so we'll presumably see that coming up pretty soon. As on our screen, Temple's just now encountering the shiny spot. Yep, the 4th shiny spot. So that skip took him backwards. Now, floor 7, the gifts are good and the enemies are hard. Alright, trying to get some enemies to despawn before he heads down this path. But they just keep flying right back up at him. So we'll see. But he manages to dodge them all and doesn't take an encounter there. Although he gets a red swirl from the yak. So yeah, now that Temple knows that he's on floor 4, he's going to go back into that skip and get back on what we know as floor 6.
Does Temple know that the Onet area? Did he ever reach that hint man that Temple or that Aurilliux found?
I did not see him reach that hitman, so I don't think he knows what floor that was.
He is definitely going back. Yeah, he's back in Onet now.
Which we know is 6, but I don't believe that he does.
I believe he has seen the harder enemies, though, somewhere through this floor, so he knows this is further along than where he was in that floor 4 sanctuary.
Right. Certainly seeing diamonds roam around, you know you're not in the lower half of the game.
Yeah, because the first instance you see diamond type enemies is the second trip through Winters when you're heading to Stonehenge Base. Oh wait, no, I'm mistaken. I guess the first time you would see diamonds is in Scaraba Desert. Ari just finding that Scaraba town, so he's just working through his way through the shopkeepers looking for anything good. I don't think he found anything super useful.
Yeah, the only thing I saw at that shop was the broken cannon, and those aren't going to be very good, as Jeff will not be repairing items very often with randomized IQ.
It always pleases me when I see runners pick up an item and I immediately hear the drop sound. I get to know that the runner was as disappointed with the item as I was watching. Or I just picked up a vial of serum and immediately let that thing go.
Pew! Away it goes. Temple gets the king banana from the normal way of getting it, and immediately tosses it. We're not taking that skip.
It's very unlikely that they're already pretty far along, so it's more likely at this point that if you do find a shortcut, it's going to be backwards, especially getting to 6, 7, 8. It's very rare at this point that they're going to find a significant skip forward.
Although a little bit more likely than in previous updates now that the number of floors that skips can go has been reduced.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just because, I would say previously, Temple taking a hard battle here, he's going to take a hard reset for.
You notice that Aurilliux just found a smiling NPC of himself, Dragon Ness.
Oh, there you go. But previously, basically, if you had a skip that half of it was on floor 6, the other half could be an even possibility of on any floor. And since there are more floors below you, then it's more likely that the skip is going to go to a lower floor. But now with the new system, these skips can only go a certain number of floors away. And those floor 1 and for the most part floor 2, it's not even an option in the pool. It actually reduces the odds that a floor 6 skip will lead you backwards.
That's good to know. So I guess at this point, any shortcut they find are still very likely to go forward. Then I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's still going to be a little bit more likely to go backward than forward, but not as likely as it used to have been.
So at this point, Aurilliux still has a little bit of a lead on Temple right now. Temple's still working his way through a net, trying to find the right path going forward. Aurilliux spelling his player name.
So you are not guaranteed to come across the inputting a player name in randomizer. If you don't go in and out of this door in Toto, then at the end of the game your player name will just be blank. But if you do go out of this door, then you will get the opportunity to. And finding a full heal this late is definitely a good find.
This Winter's place that Temple is at right now is one of those kind of nasty places where at first glance it's like, oh, there's only 2 doors here, but then you realize, oh, there's 2 or 3 more up north as well. And you get some narrow passageways to deal with too, so it can be kind of difficult sometimes to make your way back up north to those doors.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an annoying area in vanilla and a little bit of an annoying area in randomizer. There's also a small effect of the run button. When you try and go through tight spaces, it's you can get sort of a vibrating effect, or you might not even be able to fit through spaces until you give it a couple times if you're holding down the run button. It's not
the game's collision detection keeps pushing you back and forth.
It's not maybe the best coded run feature in the world, as evidenced by the fact that you can use it to get through all sorts of cliffs all over the place if you're going for a glitched run. Aurilliux getting to the shop, the department store, and these department store first level are the fastest way to sell items. Any other shopkeeper that you can sell items to, you have to go through all the menu of what do you want to do? Do you want to buy or sell? But that first floor shopkeeper only lets you sell items, so it is definitely the fastest way to sell items.
The shopkeeper also had secret herbs, and already stocked up on a few right there.
Yeah, this is a good department store so far.
Temple just found a flame pendant that could be useful on a boss or two upcoming if they have kind of a nasty sanctuary boss, especially Carbon Dog, Diamond Dog.
That's always the one that they worry about. Once you get your pool of 8 bosses that you'll be assigned, they're assigned directly in difficulty order. So Carbon Dog is the most difficult enemy in the game as far as how the system ranks them. So if you have Carbon Dog in your seed, he will always be the floor 8 boss.
But Arya on the left fighting the sanctuary of the floor 7 boss. So we're gonna be about to see a 2-floor gap between these 2 runners.
I believe Temple's still on 6. I haven't seen him find the floor 6 boss or taken any skips since then.
No, he's still there. I haven't been paying close enough attention. He spent a long time in Winters, but it seems like he went through all the possible doors in Winters and didn't find an exit. So it seems like he's determined that's a dead end, and now he's working his way back south through Grapefruit Falls.
Yeah, it seems that way. I don't recall from watching Arya what the right direction. Oh, and he has found it.
Oh, there we go.
So Temple will be getting into his floor 6 boss fight just as Arya finishes the floor 7. And it's Tucson.
Oh, one of the worst. Tucson is the biggest group of doors. I believe it's 19.
19 doors. First thing off the bat when you're on floor 8 with difficult enemies everywhere.
And but they're going to start finding some decent stuff. I already just found a moonbeam gun, which is, I believe it's Jeff's 3rd best weapon. But it's definitely going to be a huge help for Aurilliux. Temple has now advanced to floor 7, so he instead of the 2-floor difference like I was thinking, they're just gonna be a floor apart.
So, when you encounter a large hub like Tucson, what's your strategy?
Oh, I immediately think through, okay, what I'm like Aurilliux, he entered out on the hospital, and I'm just immediately think, okay, I'm gonna work my way south. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget which doors I've gone in. I have to have some nice way of remembering which doors I've gone in, or I'm gonna forget and waste time somewhere. So I would just do what our Relix is doing, just work them up, go west, hit those doors, hit the Onet exit, and then just slowly start working my way south and scanning down Tucson, hitting all the doors. My very last one being that tunnel, the very southern part.
Yeah, you definitely need a strategy when you come into these large areas, or you will be lost and confused and wandering around Tucson for a long time.
Yeah, the hard one I played a seed recently. It was one of the weekly ones we did, I believe last week, and we took a shortcut. I believe most runners took a shortcut from about floor 4 or 5 immediately to 9, and it emptied out right into Tucson. But it took us a long time to realize that Tucson was a dead end, and there was only one path out of Tucson, and there wasn't a path forward. It was just a path back.
Yeah, that
And
one was
I
pretty
think it took
brutal.
all of us about 15 or 20 minutes to realize that.
That one was, I imagine it was brutal to play, but it was entertaining to watch. Also, something to note that there in Tucson, Ari did find a merchant selling multi bottle rockets. I don't know if he found the rabbit's foot that Temple found earlier, but he did pick up at least one multi bottle rocket.
Ari did just find a night pen, and so what here there are the last few floors of the game. I feel like once you get to this point, your main focus and equipment is looking for flash resistant items, those being night pendants, star pendants, and sea pendants. Because you just need to be able to not get your entire party wiped from a random Gygus attack. So as long as you can get the very minimum that you're looking for is really just one on Ness, so that you can revive others. The best, or ideally, you're looking for two, one on Ness and Paula, and then in a nice case, you're looking for one or one on everybody, so you can just keep people alive and not have to worry about reviving.
Right. So if you recall what I said about 70% of the items in the pool get used, and since there are 3 star pendants and 3 sea pendants in the pool, that means that less than 2% of seeds will have no sea or star pendants in them. So odds are you're going to find at least one of those, as long as you do, a comprehensive search of floors 7, 8, and 9 for all their gifts. But of course, that can be quite time-consuming in its own right.
Their temple just hit Hitman, and we see that the floor 8 boss is Thunder and Storm. So thankfully, it's not too bad. Thunder and Storm is not Carbon Dog and Diamond Dog, and it's not Nessa's Nightmare. So you're happy.
Yep, we do not have a doggo seed today.
And Temple just found a Gutsy Bat for Ness.
That is big. So
I
what?
didn't even know the Gutsy Bat was in the pool.
Yeah, everything is in the pool. So why is it that the Gutsy Bat is so much more important than any other bat?
Oh, it increases Net's guts a huge amount, and guts is what's used to determine smash attacks. Technically the algorithm is your guts over 20 or 5%, whichever's low or whichever's higher. So at the very base of the game, or the very early beginning of the game, you have at the very worst case a 5% chance to smash. But as you get more and more guts, that chance increases a whole lot. So I believe the Gutsy Bat increases your guts a little over 100. Essentially makes it your smash attack chance close to about 25% or 30%, depending on your stat gains, which is very significant. It means Ness is going to be dealing out 300 damage on attacks
Right.
to the final bosses of the game.
So given that, is the Gutsy Bat the bat that you want the most? And even though there are bats with more offense, you would ignore them in favor of the Gutsy Bat?
Every time. The amount of offense some of the better bats are is not enough to outweigh the amount of guts that the Gutsy Bat gives you.
So that's quite a good find. The snake, somewhat less of a good find.
I did notice that the same NPC, the Ness, posed for the picture. And I guess it's set up to whatever Ness is. I like that. Because
Yeah.
on Temple side, it was just the regular Ness.
Yep, that'll be one of the minor effects of the custom sprite choice.
Temple
Actually,
encountering another shortcut, just opting not to even bother with it.
right, I believe we're still on floor 7. Although, given the new algorithm, I might, if I had the equipment, I might poke my head in.
But I believe the right one was the hamburger, and I think he recognized that was the same skip room that he found near the very beginning of the game on floor 2 or floor 3, so it didn't even bother.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know if the left door might have gone forward. I'm not positive.
if you're able to remember which skips rooms you've poked your head into based on the random sprites, and so when you encounter them later on, you know which ones they are. That'll can definitely save you some time. Even just as a watcher, I can't remember them. But as a runner, once you're if you're looking for some of the strategies to get you to the next level that are specific to randomizer as opposed to just general Earthbound strategies, that would probably be one of them. It looks like Temple may be about to enter a player name as well here.
Trying out the shortcut though. He's looking to see if he has a shortcut item.
Now, Ari has entered Moonside, and Moonside actually has a special item loop. Moonside has the good name, Temple. Moonside has the teleport man that will teleport you around Moonside and teleport you into the room with no exits to normally progress story progression. We've slightly rerouted the teleport man to take you basically around where all of the gifts are around the corner of Moonside, and then back to the central floor so you can use them freely. You need to talk to the teleport man right outside of the hospital to get started on that loop. And of course, he doesn't look like a teleport man anymore because his sprite has been changed, but it's the NPC walking around right outside of the hospital, and that'll start you on the teleport loop. There are 3 items around the loop, and then 1 additional item up beside the hospital itself.
So Temple at that same four-side department. I'm not sure if it's four-side. I think it's the Tucson department store that Aurilliux was in probably about 5 minutes ago. So he's just progressing over that same path that Ari did, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna stumble into that floor 7 sanctuary boss here pretty soon.
Yeah, seems like it. Ari finds an auto Star Master around the item loop that I was talking about, so now he has Starstorm Alpha. But nothing else of too much value here.
If Temple can find that Star Master, he's gonna have himself Starstorm Omega.
Yeah, that'll be pretty nice. How valuable is getting that first Starstorm Alpha onto Pooh during one of these runs?
I think it's nice, but it's not as nice as it is in vanilla, just because I guess it's up to the runner. Because the main thing you're going to be using Starstorm for is damage on phase 2 of Gygus. But I almost value the potential solidify capability of just a freeze beta a little more than the damage output of Starstorm. Because I'm generally a very safe player, and I value safety over the risky damage. So, but I mean, it's players' preference. If you very much value that idea of just putting out damage as fast as you can, then Starstorm is definitely the way to go.
Alright, picks up a souvenir coin. That's the best coin.
And Temple's found the floor 7 boss, so he's going to be moving on to floor 8. I assume he's going to be able to get through this fight pretty quickly. The Shroom should be one of the safer floor 7 bosses you could probably find on this.
Well, he's pretty fortunate he got that Starstorm off before the Shroom made Pooh feel strange. That could have been very bad. looking at Ari's equipment while he was doing some item management, I saw that he did have the Crystal Charm on Jeff, but not the Rabbit's Foot. So that'll come into play with how much damage those multi-bottle rockets will be able to do.
Yeah, without the rabbit's foot, you're looking at maybe at most maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 of the 20 bottle rockets of the multi-bottle rocket hitting on an armored pokey. So they're not nearly as valuable as if you had the sea pendant or the rabbit's foot on Jeff. If you have the rabbit's foot, you're looking at probably around 750 damage average from Jeff with the multi-bottle rocket. Without it, you're probably looking at more like 200 to 300.
So Crystal Charm is something for a speed boost, but not nearly as good.
I believe the Crystal Charm adds 15. I forget the exact number.
So we are both on floor 8 as Temple steps out and finds the wide world of Tucson awaiting him.
And that feeling of disappointment overwhelms you.
Like, well, I'm in Tucson and I have 2 mushrooms. I guess this is my life now. On the plus side, I hear a chicken cheeping, so we'll be able to freeze some chicken pretty soon.
Making this very much a valid run.
Well, a humane run. We won't know if it's valid until
humane.
the end.
I'm sorry. For anyone, what we're talking about, in the end credits, there are some fun little statistics about your run as you play. And with the ludicrous text speed, you can kind of tend to overmash sometimes, and you press L after the text has disappeared, and you do a check on nothing. You get the no problem here text. So one of the fun little stats at the end of the game is the game keeps track of how many no problem here's you've had and how many L checks of nothing, which 95% of the time is just because you were overmashing. You get to find out how bad you mashed.
I believe our runners are synced up right here. We're at the same ladder, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Aurilliux is right now. I'm just seeing this Mook fight, which he's just doing the hypnosis just to get out of it.
Oh no, I'm sorry, they were different ladders, but. And there is the end of floor 8.
Ooh, and this is a nasty room for a floor 8 boss. It's just because for most of the other bosses, the room with the final sanctuary boss is kind of relatively small, but for this one, it's massive, and you're gonna have to go through about 8, 9, 10 sections of areas where it's likely to find an enemy, and it's tough to despawn all these guys.
A lot of spawns to work through, and if you die to the floor 8 boss, it's a lot of time loss.
Aurilliux did just find an earth pendant. No flash resistance, but it does keep you immune from all the elemental stuff.
Certainly better than nothing. Temple still found no way to get those mushrooms off.
Aurilliux doing a great job forcing some of these green swirls and some of these bad encounters.
Yeah, he can force some amazing green swirls I would not have thought possible.
Yeah, for some reason, once the fight starts, you usually have a very small window to still turn your characters one way or the other. And because you always have the run button enabled, it's very common that your fight that you initiate isn't with your front party member, but one of your back 3. And because of you can figure out how to turn very quickly, you can often force that green swirl, and if you can detect who of your 4 party members is initiating the fight.
Mm-hmm. It's a skill he's definitely been learning. Ari has found the boss, but Temple has found a sea pendant. That'll definitely be a big help.
I don't know what flash resistant items Ari has so far.
I believe he has 1 night pendant and the earth pendant, and I think that's it.
That could make, if he doesn't find, if floor 9 is pretty sparse with flash resistant items, he could have a hard time on Gygus. Temple definitely has the advantage on the Gygus fight as of right now with that sea pendant find.
Force side, first out of the box on floor 9, which actually has fewer doors than you might think.
He's actually going to head up north to the north side. A lot of people don't recognize that this is an arms or a shop up here.
Nothing valuable today, though. Temple has found the shopkeeper with multi-bottle rockets, and he's loading up. And since he has...
Especially since he has that rabbit's foot, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit better for him. Oh, well, we have found the polished shack. This is actually another way to get a Franklin badge. So in addition to the 2 in chess, occasionally in the maze, the polished shack will be there, and you can get a Franklin badge from Paula directly, and Ari has done that.
I actually did not know that. That is huge.
It's pretty big. So with the addition of the shack, it's actually possible for there to be up to 3 Franklin badges in any one seed, but the odds of the shack showing up are, I believe, below 50% itself. I think actually significantly below, maybe. So the odds of getting both of the Franklin badges in the chest and the shack to show up all in your seed are quite low, but it is possible. You may get a seed with 3 Franklin badges. I'm a little
Right now, both these runners. Oh, go ahead.
I was a little surprised that Ari bypassed that chest with the mole behind it. He's on floor 9.
That mole is going to be very trivial. Again, that mole is a scripted fight, so it's just going to be that mole as if it were in the original mole cave. And he's got betas. He could just essentially double beta that mole and get a free chest. And pretty much any chest you can find on floor 9 is going to be valuable.
Yeah, if it's not a... oh, and Temple has found the Earthbound version of Hype Cave. Jeff's room with all the presents in it. He finds another C pendant.
Ooh, that's pretty significant. Temple has 2 C pendants, whereas Aurilliux only has 1 flash-resistant item.
We also found the Gaia Beam, the best weapon for Jeff.
So yeah, Temple is a floor behind, but as it stands right now, Temple has the potential of a much safer Gygas fight.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But yeah, that's the advantage. I feel like Temple has just spent a little bit more time exploring some of these floors, looking for chests. And I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and see how Auriliux's Gygas fight goes to see if this Temple's additional exploration is gonna pay off.
Mm-hmm. I'm still confused about that chest behind the mole. I'm not. Did I miss anything, or is?
I don't think so. Aurilliux is generally pretty aggressive in Ancient Cave anyway.
Yes. Maybe he thinks he's equipped enough and he doesn't want to waste any time. He just wants to find Gygas. I have seen him go to Gygas with some very light equipment and still take him down. Oh, it looks like he has 2 Earth pendants.
I do like that he just equipped a Diadem of Kings on Pooh, and it changed his defense from 0 to 0.
There we go.
And that's because I believe he has some kind of pendant or something equipped on Pooh. Anytime you equip a pendant, it's actually going to reduce defense, but it's still going to apply whatever resistances that pendant provides. So he's valuing the resistances of the pendant way or over the defense gains, right, which I would 100% agree with.
Mm-hmm. I believe it's a flame pendant on Pooh. These random battles on floor 9 are going to start to get really difficult, so getting these, well, this one's not a particularly difficult one, but they can be really difficult. So getting these green swirls with the opportunity to get the 100% run away on the first turn when you get a green swirl is pretty large. Temple just hit the South Scaraba exit where this the Star Master comes and tries to take Pooh away. He doesn't actually succeed. But something to note is he gives you a full heal there, And since he's not actually successful in taking Pooh away, he will keep showing up and trying to take Pooh away and give you a full heal. So that is a repeatable full heal, that Star Master cutscene right there. So something to be aware of if you find that in your cave.
And Temple's got a rabbit's foot equipped somewhere on one of his characters, so he's just trying to get out of this fight. This was kind of a nasty one to take with multiple character deaths, so I won't be surprised if Temple just immediately turns back around and gets that full heal again.
Yep, ducks right back in there. Already passed through Dr. Andonut's lab a little earlier. Just want to say that it's one of the best locations you can find with the full heal machine and a phone right in one small little room.
So you can see Temple just slowly scanning his way south through Tucson. I believe there's only 2 more doors for him to check. The one that he's entering right now, Orange Kid, or Apple Kid, and then the Southern Tunnel.
All the way down there.
I guess maybe Polestar. Maybe there's one other one that I missed. I was just assuming he was scanning south through all the doors.
Well, I do not know which doors he has checked, but I do know which doors forward progress. Yeah,
he did work his way back to the hospital, which is the backwards path. That's how he entered in the first place.
Right. Which seeing that boss room there reminded him of. So it looks like we're rechecking some rooms.
And you will see Aurilliux right now in Northern Onet. You might ask, oh, weren't we in Onet earlier? Wasn't that the floor 6 town or whatever? And actually, Northern Onet and the 3 doors that it connects to, Liar Exaggerates house, and Pokey's house, and Nessa's house, those are a separate group of doors since you have that barrier that prevents you going down to Southern Onet.
That's correct. And the southern part of Onet, the 2 doors there, are also a separate group because of that barrier.
I guess Temple might have missed a door or something, because I guess he found a spot to start progressing through again. I didn't quite catch which door he ended up going through to start progressing through.
Well, according to my little spoiler map, I don't know, because I closed.
Temple just found another sea pendant on a side note.
Wow, that is 3 sea pendants. He is pretty well set, I would say. Although I don't think he has found a Franklin badge yet.
As long as he's got maybe 2 or 3 revive items on Ness, or on someone with the ability to revive Paula in case she does get lightning to death, Gygas phase 3 will be trivial for him.
Now, looking at the spoiler, I can see there was a Franklin badge back on cave level 4. Of course, no one's going to be going back for that now at this point.
Yeah, I think one of them, I think that was Temple, that took a shortcut back to floor 4 and realized he was there and got back to floor 6, exploring a different shortcut path. But other than that, I don't think anyone explored floor 4 at all.
But that will be the only Franklin badge in a chest for this seed. So Temple either needs to find that same shack that Ari found, or he will be without a Franklin badge.
But again, that Franklin badge, I think at this point is just a nice to have. In all my seeds, I've actually never found a Franklin badge. So I've learned that it's very much doable without.
Oh, there you go. Oh, and Ari picked up a heavy bazooka at some point when I wasn't looking. That's a very good equipment for Jeff.
Huge, unlimited super bombs. Granted, only Jeff can use it, but still, that's a free super bomb every single turn. That's better than any other move Jeff can do outside of a single target multi-bottle rocket.
Especially we're on floor 9 with these really difficult enemy packs. If you happen to get in one of these fights.
So I guess Ari's determined that both Poki's house and Nessa's house are dead ends, so he's going to head up to Liar Exaggerate's house. Interesting that all these enemies are running from him.
Yes, well, he beat the boss at Fire Springs. And that will make these Fire Springs enemies run away from you. That is a feature that may or may not be staying the same in the future, but it will stay the same for the duration of the Ancient Cave tournament, at least. So speaking of these difficult battles, we've got a couple Starmen doing some work on Ari's team.
He's having some bad luck getting away. He didn't find that rabbit's foot that Temple has, so he's having a much harder time running away for some of these harder encounters.
And it's the loaded dice on Temple's side, our mascot for the randomizer. And he just paralyzes it and runs away and leaves it to sit on the floor in agony for the rest of its days. It seems a little harsh, to be honest.
So Aurilliux is here in the Foresight department store. There's a door on every single one of these floors for him to check out, and a lot of enemies to deal with on the way.
Yeah, if you thought going up the escalator and encountering cups of coffee were bad, try going up the escalator and encountering Ghosts of Starmen.
Ooh, two characters essentially dead on Ari's side. A Paula that was diamondized, but now is officially dead, and Pooh, who is dead.
I don't recall the last time we saw a full heal on Ari's side.
Yeah, I'm not sure when the last time. I guess the last time Aurilliux saved was back in the Dr. Andon's lab, like you were mentioning.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I assume he saved there. There's a flame sitting on the escalator, so Ari decided to go down.
I mean, that's fair. If the escalator is on fire, I'm going to go down. Pretty much every circumstance. Let's see if Temple takes the present loop and picks up the second Auto Starmaster to get Omega Starstorm. It looks like he will. Yep, there it is, Starstorm Omega. A rare seed where you will see that. Because of course you have to, both of the Auto Starmasters have to end up in the cave, and you have to find and use them both. Yeah,
so Ari's going to be able to continue exploring, but unfortunately, that room he's going into, that would be great to have that room actually lead into. Oh wow, it actually did lead into. So Ari has found Gygus, but he has two dead characters. So he's going to have to decide if it's worth it to burn some of his revive items right now to revive some of his dead characters, or to go back and find a revive spot. It's just, you could either scenario is viable at this point. So he's going to go ahead and use his items to revive and try and tackle Gygus right now.
All right, we're going for it. We will see if he has enough. Oh, he did pick up a star pendant at some point.
And he's using all of Pooh's life ups first, because I believe he bought a whole bunch of bottles of water, so he'll be able to restore Pooh's psychic points pretty easily.
Right, that department store we were just in, he was able to pick up some DX water bottles. Now, of course, it is randomizer, so there may be enemy spawns in this room. And there are, so he has to dodge and weave. These little weird tendrils coming off the main path actually serving a use here in randomizer.
So he's just checking his gear. He's got multi-bottle rockets, but no rabbit's foot. So you're looking at maybe, sometimes they may not even hit, because Armored Poke's got very high speed. Multi-bottle rockets work by comparing Jeff's speed and the enemy speed, and using that to determine how many bottle rockets hit, and based on how many hit, It's just a kind of a complex algorithm, but essentially the speed is the big attribute you're looking at Jeff's, and without that rabbit's foot, those MBRs are not going to be as strong as they could be. But here we go. First round Gygus, what you're looking for, you're praying for a Rock and Alpha from Gygus. If you get hit by Rock and Beta and you didn't get good HP stat rolls on all your characters, you might be in for a really bad time.
Mm-hmm.
3 characters are definitely within range of dying very quickly to a Rock and Beta if that does happen. And there it is. Oh gosh, I'm watching the wrong stream. I should be. Sorry.
That's all right. We now we know we can sit in the dread of the beta upcoming. Yep, there it is. Dargon beta. Mortal damage to Paula and mortal damage to Pooh. The MBR does 500. So probably
that was actually a pretty solid roll for not having the rabbit's foot.
Yeah, I would say on the higher side of what you would expect. Well, he had a life up queued up for Paula, so Paula does not actually die, but Pooh did.
Ness will likely die next round unless someone gets a lucky, or unless Ness himself outspeeds Gygus. Ness is likely dead. Or I guess he probably got that shield off.
Yeah.
So right now we're probably just worrying about armored Poke's damage and where he hits.
649 off the second multi-bottle rocket.
And the paralysis works. So as it stands, Aurilliux is essentially immune to damage as long as he keeps his shield up until phase 1 is over.
And those really good MBRs will make phase 1 not take that long.
And Temple on the right side just working his way to the Sanctuary 8 boss. He's on the same room, so he's essentially exactly one floor behind Ari at this point. Mm-hmm. This has been a really tough seed for both runners. A 140 from a top level runner from Ari just solidifies the fact that I'm glad I'm not playing this seed.
Yeah, it is. It has been brutal, and I would say Ari's usual times are below 130.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say his average time is probably about 125, 120. Still having a hard time dealing with this. Jeff goes down.
In theory,
although all that Jeff would be doing is be shooting super bombs at this one, just putting out some extra damage.
Right. In theory, with Paula having a star pendant and a Franklin badge, we should be good at this point, right?
Yeah, as long as I guess at this point you put out enough damage, even if you lose it all, you could probably just fall back on betas and some prayers to get through the rest of the fight, even in a worst case scenario. So I'm pretty sure that Ari is going to be able to get through this.
Pooh dumping out these star storms, dishing out the damage. Gygus is taking a lot. Again, he could have more hit points than he normally does. Something probably most people don't know, bosses are actually slightly more likely to have better stats than worse stats compared to their normal versions. So it's less likely that you'll encounter a boss that's a pushover compared to his normal self, and more likely you'll encounter a boss that's a little bit harder.
So here we are at phase 2. Paula has a star pendant and a Franklin badge, which essentially means Paula will only take at most 8-10 damage if Gygus does his freeze attack. So absolute worst case scenario, Gygus would need to use his freeze attack multiple times and have Paula solidify every single time for Aurilliux to be in trouble here, which is probably not going to happen. So you're probably looking at Aurilliux getting through this fight unscathed.
Seems likely. And you may notice these prayers are going by a little faster. The last patch that we have not talked about is the Short Gygus Prayers patch, because anyone who has run Earthbound a lot has seen those cutscenes more than enough times, I imagine. And will appreciate this last phase taking a little bit less time. It only slightly does any strategy change. It only makes you a little bit more likely to survive a lethal attack.
You actually saw that Aurilliux threw out a brain shock from Pooh on Gygus. Fun fact is that Gygus is one of the few enemies in the game where brain shock is actually useful. Has a pretty significant chance of making Gygus feel strange.
Mm-hmm. And another one that's going to come up a lot in Randomizer, actually, because Carbon Dog, Diamond Dog is such a difficult fight, those guys are also usually, this is Randomizer, but usually 50% vulnerable to Brain Shock, and that's a really big deal, especially with Diamond Dog. It looks like Temple doesn't know. Yeah, Temple doesn't know about the fact that you can get a Franklin badge off of the shack. That's what I was saying. Diamond Dog, if you confuse him, which you have a 50% chance to do, he can bite himself and diamondize himself and give you an instant win. So
It's a dream. I didn't even realize that.
yeah, basically every time in Randomizer, assuming you don't just have multi-bottle rockets to throw at him and end it instantly, I would start off by confusing Diamond Dog and seeing if you can get that sweet instant win. Because no matter how bad your fight is going, he can always diamondize himself. As long as you've confused him. Also something to keep in mind for prayer strats, since prayers can also confuse him.
Ari on his second to last prayer, being absorbed by the darkness. He just has one left, and he's gonna be done.
And there it is, 146.19 on his timer. Aurilliux is the winner of our exhibition match. Congratulations.
Very nicely done.
If you're in the chat, if you want to see if he has a mic on him, if he'd be interested in jumping in and talking with us about how his seed went. It'd be interesting to hear from him, his opinion. Because this is definitely a more challenging seed than most for both of our runners this time. But congratulations to Aurilliux. We'll see what Pokey's last line is here. And then we'll see the credits, including the new statistics that have been put into the randomizer.
So Temple has just reached that northern Onet section. Likely, or he's just coming in and out, seeing tons and tons of enemies. Likely hit that Pokey's house and reach that dead end and have to come to the conclusion that Liar Exaggerates house is the way to move forward. I forget what items are through here.
I don't recall either at this point. Yeah, Annette was looking a little bit on fire there. Ah, the heavy bazooka. That's a pretty important one.
That's definitely worth it to come down this path. Oh no, he's getting rid of the protractor.
Oh no! How will he figure out the angles of things? The war against Gygus is over.
What up?
Aurilliux, congratulations on your victory in our exhibition match today.
Yeah, that was a tough one at the start. And everybody's stats are kind of really bad, so I thought it might be harder towards the end. But I found a lot of good stuff.
Right. Definitely a difficult seed for everyone, I think. So we're looking at your stats going by right here.
I like that Money in the Bank $29.
That's right.
Big 29.
Too real for me.
So you'll see these stats whether you do Ancient Cave or normal randomizer, and we'll see that you freed one chicken and you had one L button no problem here. So your run was both humane and valid.
The differential between damage received and damage dealt is huge too. 7,000 damage received compared to 41 damage that dealt. That almost 5 to 1, 6 to 1 difference is pretty significant. My usual difference is like they're pretty similar.
This seed was, I don't know, I wound up in a lot of fights too. Most of the rooms you had to go through were not rooms where you could really like gimmick it and get green swirls or anything. So a lot of fights I just had to sit. I'm really glad that I bought a weapon for Jeff because that let me auto fight some stuff. Otherwise, I really would have been stuck. Right after I cleared floor 1, I think it was, I was actually kind of sweating because after I beat the 1 sentry robot, I was completely out of gas and had nowhere else to go but fight another one.
Right, the scripted enemies came at you guys fast and furious as soon as you entered floor 2.
Yeah, I believe the first was the slimy little pile in Belch's base, like literally the exit after the floor 1 boss.
Yep.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop, but I was more than prepared to fight 1, and then 2 was cutting it real close. Definitely not 3. But it's all right. As long as you find a full heal somewhere, you can always backtrack. And that's the big thing, too. At least in my opinion, anytime I'm going to take a skip, I like to at least have a phone or some kind of full heal that I can go back to in case it turns out terrible.
That makes sense. Fewer skips this time. I think, was it basically 1 skip for you?
Yeah, 1 skip from 3 to 6.
There was also a skip on floor 1, but I guess neither of you really looked at it because we kind of had that agreement to not take any skips from floor 1 on.
Right.
But I'm not, unless that was the skip that with the monkey that wanted the ruler, I don't know if you would have been able to take it anyway.
I didn't check. I never did find the monkey that wants the ruler. I don't actually know what that room looks like, so I have to talk to the monkeys. That's something I could actually work on if I wanted to be really, really.
Well, I mean, you are capable of remembering the rooms that you see on floor 2 when you come back and see them on the other side on like floor 6 or 7, and that's more than I can do. So,
Yeah, that's fair.
but a difficult seed overall. The items did eventually come at the end. I saw you picked up the Franklin badge from the shack, which we talked about. Not a lot of people know that you can get a Franklin badge there in Randomizer.
I had no idea.
Yeah, that was a huge floor 9 find. I was still pretty nervous about Gygas the whole time. Since Paula, I would have to really sit there and grind for like probably another 20 minutes before I'd be confident that she would survive more than 1 lightning.
I did notice that when you were exploring the department store, right where Temple is going on the escalator up, there was a flame on the escalator going up, and you were like, "No, I guess we'll go." And that worked out because down was the way to go. You got lucked out with a really bad spawn, forcing you to go down.
Yeah, that spawn was there, and I was like, you know what? There's a phone downstairs. I get the twofer.
We'll see what there was upstairs here as Temple's checking out this room.
I believe that looks like a dead room with just a trash can at the end was a present.
Yeah, 1 gift in this room, I believe.
Oh, did Temple already slog through the sewer room, or did he skip that one? I was very happy I set up the exit mouse for that.
Well, it looks like we won't see what's in that room after all. Temple gives up on it.
I have a question for you, Ari. So what is your general reason? Because you use exit mice much more consistently and much better than I do. What is your general logic for determining, okay, I should drop an exit mouse here, or I'll wait and drop an exit mouse later? How do you generally determine when you should use them?
For the most part, I would say when I'm deciding what to do with exit, if I haven't used it in a very long time and I find a safe room, I'm probably going to drop it there. If I find a room that will provide exit mice and maybe something else of value close by, I might drop it there. Or if I see really long rooms that I don't want to be a dead end and have to backtrack through, that's also probably the number 1 thing that I save them for.
Okay, that's fair. Temple he actually just found the Gygas room, got into a red swirl, but it was probably the best red swirl fight to get into. With just that robot who doesn't even attack that often, just heals other people. Ooh, he does find the red caterpillar, but ignores it. I'm disappointed.
Yep, doesn't want the XP.
I was really surprised. I didn't see any Ghost of Starman this seat.
Temple definitely did. I saw him take the Starstorm earlier while we were talking.
All I fought were evil eyes, and I would almost rather fight a Starman. The evil
Just
eye makes
because of
those
the chance
fights
to get
take
diamondized.
forever.
And Temple actually has 3 sea pendants. So he should be pretty safe for this one.
But no Franklin badge. But as you've mentioned, that shouldn't be too much of a.
Yeah, he's sitting on several secret herbs, or at least I think he's got two plus secret herbs in every single character. I think he'll be fine. As long as he doesn't get really bad luck with a beta on turn 1 and unable to recover for whatever reason, I think he's going to get through this.
Yeah, the beta to start mine scared me a little bit, but then I got an awesome damage roll on Ness, and then I didn't carry.
Yeah, Ness got left with like 5 HP. It was a really low beta roll. I think Ness took like 130 damage on your side.
Yeah, that's usually what I'm rolling when I use. That's about right.
And
Yeah,
you're
Temple just doing some final management, just making sure everyone's got some revive items. He's comfortable regardless of what kind of situation he gets presented with.
Also, your multi-bottle rocket rolls were pretty good for not having a Rabbit's Foot.
Yeah, for randomizer, I would take 500 to 600 damage every time.
I'm interested to see if it was a factor of maybe just heavily armed Pokey had really low speed, so that with the Rabbit's Foot, Temple's multi-bottle rockets might do quite a lot. I'm interested to see.
I want to go with the 1 speed capsule I gave. That 1 speed made all the difference. I'm curious where he found the Rabbit's Foot. Maybe he didn't take the same skip that I.
He actually, while he was looking around on floor 6, he found a skip that ended up going back to floor 4. And he was exploring that for a bit, trying to figure out what floor that was on. And while he was exploring that, he found the Rabbit's Foot there.
So Temple ate a Rock and Alpha, so everyone's going to survive that attack, which is definitely what you want to see. So if this paralysis goes off, it didn't work. So almost a perfect round, or a round 1 of phase 1.
Hey Chaz, does Pokey's paralysis resist? Will that get shuffled at all?
It can. All of those resists are possible to get shuffled, but not likely, but possible.
That sounds horrifying.
I've definitely had seeds where you just try to paralyze Pokey 3-4 times and then say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do something else with my...
Temple got a little bit of bad luck with Armored Pokey's only attack in phase 1, which was targeted right at Paula.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate. On the other hand, we did see that the multi-bottle rocket did 1,100 damage, so I would say that's probably pretty good proof that Pokey had gotten some randomized low speed. This barely keeps Pooh alive there, as the damage is racking up here.
Does have a Starstorm Omega to throw out right here, though.
Ooh, he found both Auto Star Masters.
He did.
Oh, that's nice. I love that.
Secret Herb did not work.
Ooh, Ness doesn't have another one. And Pooh only has 1. Wait.
Did he not see the one that Pooh had left?
I'm pretty confident I saw a secret herb there at the top right spot.
Yeah, it was definitely there. I'm wondering if Temple just somehow didn't see it.
That was another unfortunate part about this seed. Whenever Pooh learns PSI healing, it's not on the level that I saw.
Right, so the levels that the kids will learn the PSI moves have been slightly randomized as well. So
sometimes you luck out because sometimes it comes down and then they learn like Freeze Omega or something that you never really see in the speedrun.
Right, it's equally likely that it could be lowered or raised, but obviously raised hurts a lot more.
It looks like Temple, at the very bright, the bright side is his save location is right next to the Gygas Lair. I believe it's only 2 or 3 rooms away.
So there shouldn't be too much time to go back at it. arranging his equipment now. Probably going to save again, I would imagine.
I'm wondering if even though Temple saw that Pooh had the secret herb on him, he decided that even if he did use it on Paula, he was going to have to live with Paula, or 0 ways to revive anybody else. And if Paula ever goes down, then he has no way of recovering.
Right, he basically has to dodge basically any lightning for 9 rounds at that point.
Yeah. Maybe my guess is maybe he was just assuming the kind of like the sunk cost. Maybe he was just decided the risk to go for it wasn't worth just trying again.
Yeah, seems that way. Well, we just crested the 2-hour mark of this run. But we are in the home stretch for Temple finishing up his ancient cave. All the little diamonds nice and over in the corner, so they're not bothering anyone. This one will have to dodge, but doesn't go for that caterpillar. Just does not want the XP.
It's actually a really scary fight if you get the green swirl and it's not an auto. Those things are terrifying.
Oh yeah? Because they have fire beta?
Yeah, they'll throw that at you repeatedly. Although I suppose if he has all 3 star pendants equipped or whatever, he should be okay.
Well, we'll see how round 2 goes. Starts off with an alpha.
A paralysis here would be huge. Just means he's going to get out of phase 1 guaranteed without dying. Again, the paralysis fails first turn, but I would take that over a rock and beta and the paralyzed working every time.
It looks like, was the rabbit's foot not equipped to Jeff? It looks like it was not, and that's why that multi-bottle rocket only did 100 damage.
Yeah, and he just spent a turn on Jeff equipping it. Looks like he's just going to rely on that multi-bottle rocket damage carrying him, keep everyone safe. Whoo, that MBR did 1800 damage.
Okay, I guess the rabbit's foot was worth it.
I'd say Pokey might be a little slow.
Good guy, Jeff. Seriously. Jeff underrated. I'm sad Paralyzed didn't work on Gygus.
Well, Jeff is back up and at him.
Jeff's going to be able to fire the heavy bazooka every turn with him back alive. Who is paralyzed? So then, unless he removes that paralysis with someone else's secret herb, that secret herb is dead. So I think he's just going to burn through Pooh's psychic points and then just let Pooh die.
Hey, there's a brain shock strat. That's great for 3rd phase, especially when you don't have a Franklin pad.
Temple is really low on psychic points. Paul is down to 8. He might have a tough time dealing out enough damage. At least he's got that steady amount of damage coming from Jeff's super or heavy bazooka.
Maybe I just felt rushed, but I felt like Gygus here had a lot more hit points than he usually does.
Yeah, I felt like that too. My guess is Gygus has around 3,000 this time.
Oof, double lightnings. But
ended phase 2, so Ness is going to stay alive.
Well, now, if I remember, I believe someone told me that the way this works is... Oh, no, Ness is still going down.
I forget. Sometimes I've had... In one of my previous runs, someone was going... I believe it was Paula was going to die entering phase 2 or phase 3, and she stopped dying. So I don't know what the logic is for that.
So how that one works, if you roll into phase 3, everybody's hit points stop rolling. As soon as they take an act, then their hit points will begin rolling again. So because Ness acted as soon as we transitioned to phase 3, his hit points started rolling again.
Oh, okay. So maybe if whoever is dying had already taken their action that turn, and you immediately start the next one, you can get that heal off or whatever before they start dying. Interesting.
Well, taking out Ness and
yeah.
Paula at the same time means that Temple had no way to revive Paula. So we have to reset again. And even if Jeff had a secret herb on him, he was also confused, so it would have been a significant chance that the herb would have revived the wrong person. Or been just directed at Gygas to cure whatever was ailing him at the moment.
And since he used a brain shock, that would be that much worse.
Fair enough. Resets don't take that much time. Well, hopefully Temple will be able to finish this off. One more trip through these 3 rooms of spawns. It is a little amusing how this is the usually the room before Gygas, so it's almost vanilla, but Gygas set up a nice little ante-room if you want to take a sit down.
I liked that, yeah.
You know, he built a foyer. Getting some different RNG chains going.
There you go. I did notice too, I don't know if Temple realizes this, he threw I forgot, it was either a C or a star pendant, but he threw a pendant on Pooh, but he has not equipped it. Which, if you didn't know that, you can equip pendants onto Pooh, and it'll tank his defense. It's going to fall to 0, and probably like 90% of the time in the randomizer. But he still gets the elemental resistance. And usually if Pooh's getting hit with a physical attack, he's probably dead anyway, so you may as well just put a pendant on.
There we go, we're through this room. Through Gygas' foyer. And into the tentacle room. All these caterpillars around. We'll see if we can dodge the beta for a 3rd time. I think if once he learns that shack room would have given him a Franklin badge, he'll be wishing he had known that.
He did get the Rockin' Alpha and Paralysis to work phase 1, so very, very clean for round 1 this time. But I believe the Rockin' Alpha chance from Gygas on turn 1 is a 75% chance compared to a 25% chance from a beta. I believe that's what the odds are.
Yeah.
Each action from Gygas.
Yep, that's correct. So we got out of phase 1 so fast that we didn't get everyone healed yet from the initial Rockin' Alpha.
Got 2 lightnings, but neither lightning's gonna kill anybody, so I think he's just gonna spend time healing a little bit to play it safe.
Heavy bazooka takes out Pooh.
Yeah,
Pooh and Jeff.
That's the danger of having Jeff do pretty much anything in phase 2 or 3.
Ooh, looks like Jeff got saved on his own heavy bazooka shot.
What a champ. I'm sure that makes Pooh feel a lot better.
I'm wondering why he's not even doing any betas or freeze damage from Paula during this. I guess he was more wanted that heal damage or that heal more than damage. I'm not quite sure.
Well, we have 2 kids alive. What will we do now?
Getting lucky rolls on the secret herbs, they've all succeeded this time around.
Yeah, that's a real danger. That's why I always stock up with like 1 billion, pretty much however many I can afford.
And down goes Ness. Unless he heals himself in time. He's just going to spam defense to get back to Ness's turn in time, but the lightning's going to take too much time. Oh,
Yep.
that's terrible.
And looks like we're moving on to prey strats. Phase 2 prey strats turn up a lot in randomizer.
Ooh, I like the prayer and put everyone to sleep, but Paula immediately woke up. Oh, and everyone's back asleep. So at this point, we're hoping for that 1 in 16 chance roll to revive everybody.
That is the nice part about this. You can stall for a long time with prey strats because Paula should heal again.
Wow. Yeah, this is brutal. All for not knowing about the Polishak.
There are some strats you can use to improve your odds if you don't have a Franklin badge. I really like using Brain Shock on Guy. Like, that's the very first thing I try to do phase 2, and then you have to refresh it again on phase 3. But I mean, that basically takes out 50% of his attacks. It's not guaranteed by any means, but it really improves your odds.
Yeah, that would definitely help. What are some other things? Because some runners will need to know, because you can always get into seats that just legitimately don't have any badges at all.
Other stuff you can do if you have the pendants, at least like an earth pendant or maybe even just a night pendant if the kids have really high HP. You can keep Ness and Pooh alive, and then once you're into phase 3, I like to queue up a heal from either one of the kids so that if Gygus uses lightnings, there's already a heal queued. You don't have to sit there and wait and hope that he doesn't follow up with another lightning.
Would you ever, while you're in phase 3, take a turn off from praying to get a heal out?
If I was real scared, yeah, potentially. Because even the shortened prey sequences, there's no way your HP is going to finish rolling down to whatever it's going to roll. Like, maybe unless Paula had 300 HP and she took 300 damage, maybe you'd get it off, but it's probably not.
Yeah, but we're looking at a situation right now with 120 HP on Paula. She is definitely in the danger zone from even one lightning. Now, I'm not sure how that wasn't a green swirl.
Yeah, it could be that he turned around on that frame and the sprite didn't turn yet.
I guess he just knew he was going to get the first turn run, so he saved a second there.
No extra text.
Yep. Well, coming back for Gaius number 4.
I believe.
Once again, we'll have to see if we can avoid the beta and get the paralyze. Well, we've avoided the beta. We did not get the paralyze, but Poki's only going to get one more turn here. Or, I guess he'll get another turn. I thought 2 of our multi-bottle rockets would be enough, but I was incorrect.
Feels like once you have the potential to do really high damage, it's pretty volatile. I mean, you occasionally see glitchless runners fail to kill Starman Deluxe with multi-bottle rockets.
That's true. Alright, coming into phase 2, everyone is alive, but a couple people just barely.
That was a huge Starstorm Omega. That was 790 damage.
Yep.
I think what it caps at, like 800 maybe? That's right near the top.
Get Pooh alive with a heal. Jeff's still gonna go down.
He has the gut save.
Oh, he got a gut save. I didn't realize that.
Yep. I feel like this phase 2 is going a lot smoother than our previous ones. Looks like he changed his mind, going to try and revive Pooh instead of Jeff. But the secret herb does not work. Paula's does. Pooh has enough psychic points for another Starstorm Omega. Or he'll just get flashed to death. But Gygus only had 100 hit points left anyway.
All right. So, what does Ness have any revive items sitting on him?
I think he only had that one, so I think he's out, and Paula might be out too.
So at this point, he's just praying for lightnings to not kill Paula, and instead, Ness is gonna go down turn 1.
Well, you can give it a shot. Paula still has a brain food lunch in her inventory. So he does get one non-lethal lightning that he could try to heal. Or whatever that lucky sandwich is. I have no idea. I don't know which lucky sandwich that was that he picked up, or if it's one that I even saw.
So at this point, he's just looking to dodge lightnings.
It's a 1 in 6 chance it happens, and then each
There it
lightning
is.
is a 1 in 4 chance of hitting Paulus.
He dodged the 1 in 4 roll twice right there.
Yep.
He's got 7 prayers to go.
And these freezes. That was the 69 damage lightning.
Nice.
It's about the nicest lightning damage you could hope for.
At the same time, though, he's looking at even a few solidify damages, and he's down.
Yeah, that was. Then there's another solidify. That's. Yeah, there's another lightning. Wow, what a brutal fight. Is Paula having HP of 120 just too low to go without a Franklin badge?
It's definitely dangerous. I wouldn't call it safe. I would not go in there without some kind of strength.
Well, C pendant on Pooh. Equipped this time. And we're going to go again. Temple seems pretty determined to finish out this run. But this first room is not cooperating well right now.
There's a ghost of Starman.
Yep. Little Star Storm Alpha. Will prompt a little reset. There we go. I'll say at least this did not end up with a high percentage spawn plate right on the door of the tentacle room. I've seen that before, and that can be discouraging.
Yeah, right when you walk in, like already on top of you when you walk in a nasty fight. Because this room, unless it was a really short floor 9, pretty much always has either nasty starmen or the octopuses that steal your items.
Yep, it's going to be the most difficult spawns in the game here, for sure. I saw your large pizza get taken away from you.
Yeah, that was actually my backup strat for getting baited. Thankfully, I didn't need it, but I would have been very sad.
Well, an alpha and a paralyze. That's what we hope for. Quick phase 1 as usual. Now for the grueling phase 2. A guy, I guess, who seems to have a whole lot more HP than normal in this phase. Of course, Pooh is now wearing that star pendant, so he should no longer take the instant deaths to Flash.
Yeah, the only thing that should be able to hurt Pooh right now are just the those freeze attacks that he just got hit, or the freeze, or no, the flash or the lightning attacks. I'm all over the place right now.
Jeez, Gygus.
It looks like he's trying the auto fight to see if he'll get the heals off fast enough. And it did work.
Yep. That is a little tip.
Wow, and still another double lightning.
It's crazy. Secret Herb did not work to revive Ness. Well, we gotta solidify, so we'll get a turn of breathing room. Yeah, this run, the Secret Herbs are just not pulling their weight. Ness is now out of them.
Yeah, the other big revive item you're looking for in this run are the Horn of Lives, which are a guaranteed revive, but I don't think either runner found one this race.
No, I never saw one. And I was looking for one at the end. Hey, there's that brain food lunch. If that's the later lucky sandwich I picked up, it actually heals like 20 psychic points. It's not a complete waste.
I believe lucky sandwich stats are determined at the time you pick it up, though, not like when it's actually put in the world.
It's a little different.
How Chaz does.
Yeah,
Oh, really? Okay.
that logic is actually part of the shop logic for when you buy a Lucky Sandwich. So when you pick up a Lucky Sandwich out of a box, it is whatever Lucky Sandwich was put into that box.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that.
There's basically 6 different Lucky Sandwich items in the game code, and when you
actually buy one, it just picks one of those 6 based on whatever odds it's used.
Right, yeah, it's a special logic handling is in the shop logic itself, so it has.
So there's actually 6 unique Lucky Sandwich items.
Yes.
In the back end.
So any Lucky Sandwich you find in a chest is equal odds to be any of those 6.
Very interesting. Good to know.
Yeah, so lucky sandwiches are a lot more likely to actually maybe be used instead of just healing like 40 hit points.
Do the lucky sandwiches that are put into chests, are they equal distribution among the 6 kinds?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So once again, we are in phase 3, but this time we have a Ness with enough psychic points to do some healing. And a Pooh, for that matter.
I'd just really like to see that brain shock on Gygas. That would make me a lot happy. Temple remembered once, but he hasn't done it since.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that costs 10, right? So
Right.
Pooh can't do it currently.
He may or may not still have a bottle of deluxe water. I don't remember. I know he had a few, but I know he used a few.
It looks like he's just going with the life up every turn strategy. Of course, it doesn't really help if Ness is outspeeding Paula.
Yeah, you could get a turn where Ness doesn't outspeed Paula. It just depends on the turn order as is determined at the beginning of each round.
Yeah, that's true.
That would actually kind of be ideal, in my opinion. Because then Ness will get the heal off before Paula spends forever praying. So if you get a really nasty lightning for 150, then Ness will heal her before you sit through the animation and she dies.
Oh yeah, you're right. I
We're
don't know
about
what else.
5-6 prayers in. This is looking okay. I don't want to speak too soon.
As soon as you said looking okay, some thunder started going off, but none of them hit
Nobody
Paula.
died.
No one died.
Nobody important died, rather.
Ouch.
Oh, and Poot didn't even die. Interesting.
Well, Ness is back up. Got another prayer off.
And Poot can still be a valid target for attacks, even though he's only got one.
And we have 2 left to go.
Oh, I believe. I want it.
Turn skip.
Oh, now Chaz is ahead of me. I know how it feels now.
There we go.
Did we get there?
Yeah, I just saw the done in the IRC.
Alrighty. Oh, there was one last lightning, but they both
Just
hit.
to rub it in.
They both hit
Oh,
Ness.
fine.
And Temple finish 2:31:42 on the clock. Congratulations, Temple, for finishing a very difficult seed that was really difficult at the end without the benefit of the Franklin badge to help out. So it's amazing how much more difficult those Gygas fights can be when you're not equipped how you are used to being equipped, and when your hero's stats are not what you're used to them being. But he kept fighting until he got it done. So congratulations. Do you want to see if you wanted to hop in and chat, or we can just do a quick little debrief on the seed with everyone, if he has a headset available. And of course, we'll check out Temple's stats as the credits begin to roll. I heard some chickens clucking during this run, so I hope he freed them all.
I don't think I ever found a fresh egg vent. Well, I guess I did go in Tucson, and I just didn't go down there.
Fortunately, I don't think Temple's going to be able to jump in.
Okay. Well, we'll watch his credits roll, and we'll remind people that as soon as that terrible sound goes away, there we are. Remind people that the tournament series for the Ancient Cave is about to start, and we are going to start with that 6-week series where basically there will be a seed every week for each of the 6 weeks. You just need to submit your times for, you can submit them from every week, but we'll take your best 4 times. And that is how we will seed the elimination brackets. So check out the Earthbound Speedrunning Discord. We have all the document on how you join the tournament. If you don't know how to get there, there's a link to it on the README page for the randomizer at earthbound.app. And like I said, it's everyone will be able to participate. So if you are interested, if you've played some Ancient Cave, or if even just seeing this wants to make you dive into it and give it a try and run your head up against the Gygas, come check it out. We'd be happy to have you. It's going to be a fun tournament, I think. 2 chickens freed, so it's a humane seed, and 2 L button no problem here's. So it is a valid run.
They're not all as tough as this one either, I swear.
No. This was definitely a rough one. They are usually a little bit kinder. Well, that's pretty much all that I had to say. Once again, the randomizer is at earthbound.app. My name's Jazz. I'm at pick15 on Twitter if you want to follow me. And if you want to discuss the randomizer, the Earthbound speedrunning Discord that I previously mentioned is the best place to do that. Andy, Ari, any comments, any plugs? Where can people find you?
Nothing for me. Just Jazz, you're the man.
I have a Twitch. Chaz is the man.
Yeah, definitely follow these guys on Twitch. They also do normal Earthbound, which I barely know anything about, but they also run this Ancient Cave, which I appreciate. The community's interest in the Ancient Cave randomizer. It's really been fun to see everyone participating and enjoying and being able to put out a product for everyone to enjoy. And I'm really looking forward to this tournament. I'm very excited to see how it goes. So thank you all for stopping by and watching this race. And be sure to stay tuned. I believe we're coming up close to the end of the Super Series bookie percent, right?
Yeah, I believe there's at most maybe, I know the winner's bracket has already been determined. Aurilliux is going to come out of that one as the final winner out of that. I believe there's just maybe 3 or 4 matches left in the losers bracket, and then we're all done.
Yeah, so definitely stay tuned to this channel to see the conclusion of the Boogie Percent tournament. That'll be fun. And then we will also be, once the initial 6 are done and we're in the elimination round for Ancient Cave, we'll be showing some of those races here as well. So until then, we'll see you all later, and have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks for watching.